What's going on, everybody? Tanner Phifer here, hosting episode 17 of the NFL Rumors podcast. Today, we have a special guest, 2023 NFL draft prospect, Peter Afful Jr. Peter, welcome, and NFL Rumors Twitter account as well in here. Guys, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great.
Hey, doing really good. Glad to have Peter here and let him tell, so we can talk to him and let him tell his story about how he's going to come and make a splash in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So we were just interested, we just kind of want to or just give you the mic, really. Just tell us kind of your journey and how you're preparing for this draft and just maybe what challenges you've overcome along the way. We just kind of want to hand it to you and let you say what you got to say and just tell your story.
Definitely. Well, it all started back in Lawrence, Kansas. That's where I was born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up attending high school at Lawrence High. And really I didn't play football till my senior year. Previous to that, I was just kind of playing JV and really just this high school kid with a with a football dream,
Yeah.
And so basically going into my senior year, I actually was not a receiver. I actually played as a fullback and a D lineman at 5'10", 170 pounds. So,
Oh my gosh.
people are actually kind of shocked at that. But my coaches just thought I was a real physical kid and whatnot. And so that's just where I thrived. Our running back, he ended up breaking the school rushing record running behind me. And so that's just a little tidbit right there about my high school journey. So really coming out of high school, I wasn't really highly recruited. And so I got a few JUCO opportunities from Highland Community College and Hutchinson Community College. And just looking at the resume of both schools, I ended up going to Hutchinson Community College. If you're aware, Alvin Kamara played there. Guys like Jerry Jacobs played there. Cordero Patterson played there. So, I mean, I looked at all those.
Wow.
I looked at all those things, and that's what determined my decision to go to Hudson Community College. During my time at Hudson Community College, I'd say I didn't really get the opportunities I was seeking, just being that, again, I was a fullback coming out of high school, so I wasn't really knowledgeable about the receiver position, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where they tried to flip me over to. And so really just being there, I felt like I wasn't getting the hands-on coaching and opportunity that I needed. And so I ended up transferring and going to an NAIA school, in which being there, I knew deep down that I was seeking more out of the game, and I kind of knew that the level I can play at was a bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stuck around the NAI school for a short time and then ended up transferring back to JUCO to chase my dreams of playing NCAA football. And so in doing that, I went to Coffeyville Community College under Ryan Flores, and um, it was an experience there. Mind you, being in JUCO, you just get to learn from a bunch of guys. Brandon, you're from the South. You know how those guys can play the game, man. It's a different level of football down south, and so I was able to pick up
Yeah.
from a lot of my teammates, and really just develop myself as a receiver. Again, when I went back JUCO, I really couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, being that, again, I was not getting the opportunities that I was seeking. And so really I built a great bond with the running backs coach. His name is Coach Rose. And Coach Rose basically put in a word for me at to basically any schools he had connections with. The two schools were Washburn, and then the other school was Central Arkansas. So that's a D1 and a D2 right there. Um, Central Arkansas was high on me. They were looking to go ahead and bring me in, whether that was as a walk on or as a scholarship kid. But
Get a minute. I'm from Arkansas.
Oh, really, really?
Yeah.
Yep. The Bears, man. I mean, when I tell you, I heard that they were interested in me. I was on YouTube watching all their stuff. I was
Yep.
ready to suit up as a Bear, and they gave my coach a call and basically said they were going to end up keeping a walk-on wide receiver, which I mean I respected. And so that left me with the decision to attend Washburn University, which was a Division II. Mind you, I'm from Lawrence, and Washburn is located in Topeka, Kansas, which is the capital of Kansas. And it's I'd say it's about a 30-minute drive from Lawrence, where I'm from.
That's
And
not bad at
so,
all.
right. So I was pretty familiar with Washburn. I knew coming into Washburn, they had guys already. They had guys like J.J. Letcher, my former teammate, who was, I really might be wrong on this. Like, I might be cutting it short, but I believe he was like an 8-time All-American in 2021. So yeah, again, that might be cutting it short. But the kid can play football. He was a All-American return specialist, MIAA Special Teams Player of the Year, all that kind of good stuff. And so I knew they had guys like him there. They had Jace, my boy Jace there. They had Colin Wilson there, who is actually the brother of Michael Wilhoit, who just got hired with the Broncos. So they had guys. They had guys. But when I came in, I was like, you know what? This journey has been everything that I haven't, like, everything that I didn't expect. I expected this to be a smooth journey, and it's just been a bunch of missed opportunities after missed opportunities. And so I told myself when I came to Washburn, I was going to stamp my name regardless of the situation I was stepping into. And so when I attended Washburn, I did spend some time as a red shirt. So I was on a lot of scout team, but that is where I thrived, and that's where I nurtured. I nurtured myself as a wide receiver, and proved myself worthy to end up being a starter for the Ichabods. And so in my 2 years there at Washburn, 2021, 2022, the first year I was able to rack up 29 receptions for 560 yards and 8 touchdowns. And then my second year, I had 34 receptions for 660 yards and another 8 touchdowns. So career-wise, it was 63 receptions, 1,220 yards, and 16 touchdowns. And I was a part of the team to help take the Ichabods to the playoffs for the first time in a decade. So I take
That's
a
an
lot
insane touchdown ratio for that many catches.
Yes, sir. And within the 2 years, I averaged 19.4 yards per catch. And so, I mean, it just
Very
comes
impressive.
to show you. It comes to show you that regardless of the situation I'm put in, I will find a way to make things happen. I'm not really the type of person to take no for an answer. So, regardless of receptions or anything, I will make an impact some way, somehow.
That's the attitude you got to have, especially in this kind of environment and what you're wanting to accomplish. You know, you can't back down. You can't take no for an answer, and you just got to keep pushing until you get where you want to be.
Right.
And you can never stop improving. That's very, very impressive.
Thank you.
So like, how you said you were first a fullback, right? And
yes, I was a fullback.
Okay, so like, is blocking a specialty as a receiver? Like, do you think that's something that were you used as a blocker a lot?
Yes, to be quite honest, blocking is very, very important. Again, being that we had J.J. Letcher, who we threw a lot of screens to and whatnot, I had to be there for him, you know, to block upfield while he's running that ball and whatnot. So, yes, blocking is very important, important skill to have as a receiver. It shows that you're not selfish and that kind of good stuff. And so it's just a good tool to have in your bag, you know. And so I'm blessed that I did have the opportunity to play fullback.
That's awesome. So is there anyone in the NFL, like receiver wise, you look up to or kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone is their own person and has their own skill set. Is there anyone you kind of like model a technique after, or I don't want to say compare yourself to, but like anyone you kind of just admire in the NFL?
If I'm quite honest, I will say Tyreek Hill. So like I'll say guys like I really like to look at guys close to my body type. So I'll say Tyreek Hill, Marquise Brown. I believe his name is Khalif Raymond, with the Detroit Lions.
Yes, I know him.
Of course, I liked watching some Antonio Brown back in the day.
Yeah.
but yeah, like guys like that, guys that are very similar to my body type, you know, and thrive at their position. I know this guy isn't really my body type. He's a little bit bigger than me, but we did have AJ Brown come through here at X3 Nashville. He came through our facility, and
Nice.
My God.
I basically stood there and we chopped it up for almost like 30 to 45 minutes, just trying to churn information out of him and learn the ins and out of the NFL and what it takes to be successful that rookie year. So that's another guy I say I watch a little bit too.
You
Yeah.
know, that's awesome, especially a guy like AJ Brown who just had like the best season of his career.
Right.
I will say, like I worked at I do work at the University of Arkansas, so I got to watch Traylon Burks play, and like I knew that he was gonna like soar in the NFL. And I think that, you know, he had some concussions this year, but he's someone that I'm like, I can't wait to watch him play. I like his body style. He's just got, I mean, I don't want to say a replacement of AJ Brown, but he's just like, he's a big body as well.
Definitely.
And someone else, I think he's a little taller. I'm not sure exactly on his size, but Alan Lazard, I know like one of his specialties is like blocking as a receiver.
Oh yeah, Lazard's definitely official out there in Green Bay.
Yeah, good. Probably, we had talked about Alan Lazard a little bit this week. You know, likely he's going to test free agency and see what might be out there for him. If I guess it all depends if Aaron Rodgers comes back to the Packers.
Yeah, that's a big question mark right now.
The man Aaron seems to have just closed his retreat, so it sounds like we'll be hearing from him soon.
Yeah,
it's all up to him right now.
His retreat, I don't know. It looked like a little bitty cave in a box. You know what I mean?
Single bathroom, mat on the floor. Yep.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, Jay Brown also, Peter, is one of my favorites too. I was really surprised last year when he was moved from Tennessee. He's definitely somebody I watched a lot and in college. And I was really surprised when Tennessee moved on, and I've actually spoke, you know, publicly about this. Is I really think this is why the Tennessee GM got fired.
You think?
I think when he moved on from AJ Brown, Mike Vrabel wasn't sold on it, and I think, you know, when they moved on from AJ Brown, I think that created a big controversy between the coach and the GM there. And you see that the GM's gone. They got a new GM, which Ron Carthon come on over from San Francisco. So I think, you know, now they're looking like, you know, they're interested in D-Hop. We're hearing, and DeAndre Hopkins, and, you know, with that, Tennessee, you know, Mike Vrabel's got a history with D-Hop. Their new offensive coordinator's got a history with D-Hop. So when you're taking a really good look at that, I think A.J. Brown was a big reason that Tennessee front office changed, because he was moved on. A.J. Brown's too talented of a player to let go of.
And so, what was the AJ Brown situation, based off your knowledge? Was it like a cap space issue, or what was really up with that?
Well, kind of, yeah. It was. I mean, they were going to have to re-sign him in a cap space situation, but you know, they had a lot of other players that they paid, right? Like, look at Ryan Tannehill, for example. I mean, we've listed him yesterday, Peter, as somebody that is possibly a salary cap casualty. He's up to make $35 million this season.
Right. And
right?
I mean, you're seeing a lot of guys like Taylor Lewin and Bobby Wagner and all these guys getting released, and I mean, they're too expensive to keep around, it sounds like.
Yeah, and when you got a question, like, to me, like, you're looking at your future, right? AJ Brown's a young player, right? I'm keeping AJ Brown over any three of those guys that we just mentioned.
Right.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Ryan Tannehill, don't get me wrong, good, you know, he's had some success in the league,
right.
But
he's not a $35 million quarterback.
And I mean, right, and you got Malik, or I believe that's his name, right, from
Liberty.
Right, from Liberty. Yep, Malik. I mean that kid, the kid can throw. I mean, he has a lot of upside. So you can keep a quarterback like that around for the cheap, and just pay AJ Brown.
Yeah, and one of the things when you're looking at that too is what I thought. I was a big fan of Malik Willis. I know a lot of people's, after his first season they were a little bit down on him, but but you got to think about, like, they brought in the offensive coordinator that used to be for the Texans that worked with Deshaun Watson. Let's
Right,
get the kid some receivers,
right,
right?
right,
And then see how he does, right? Like,
right.
I think that is huge. I'm going to bring this up too, like Justin Fields, for example. I know a lot of people's like, hey, there are a lot of rumors that he might be traded. A lot of rumors that Bears might go ahead and first pick. I personally don't think so. I think Justin Fields is going to be a Chicago Bear, and when you look at it, I mean, Justin Fields didn't have a ton of wide receiver weapons.
If you surround Justin Fields with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and those calibers of receivers, and give him that kind of receiving core, he might be in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah. Oh man, he had some explosive plays. I mean, he broke some
Right,
NFL records last year,
right,
right?
and
Like,
that's nothing to take away from Jalen Hurts and what he can do, but it's just like when you have a receiving core like the Eagles, like, let's be real.
Yeah. So, Peter, real quick, with that being said, is there a team that like your skill set would be like absolutely useful to? I know, like you just mentioned it, the Bears, they just, I mean, they have Mooney, and I think he's a great receiver and all, but they're just like not historically known as having the best receivers. Not really since Alshon Jeffrey have they had like a true wide receiver one, I feel like. Like, is
Right.
there a team that like you would make a difference for and you believe would be a valuable asset for?
So truthfully, like you just said, I kind of look around at the teams that kind of lack a number two guy, and obviously
Mhm.
coming to the league, being a rookie, that's where you will start as a number two guy. So I'd say like you said, places like Chicago. I kind of look at the Minnesota Vikings as an option. Not to say Adam Thielen isn't that still that guy, but it seems like Justin Jefferson has been carrying a lot of the load.
Oh, for sure.
I'd say the Tennessee Titans. Like you said, Treylon Burks is there. I think they can use another guy with speed, to play that slot position.
And they released Robert Woods.
Right. Yep. I saw that. And what's crazy is I wear number 2. So if they pick me up, I'll like that number.
hey,
Yep.
and yeah, another team, like, I think that could use a good wide receiver, a young wide receiver, right? But like, we've reported this a while, is Brandon Cooks is likely to get traded, right? Brandon Cooks has got a high cap number. He's like around $26 million. So John Mechie will come back. Big kudos. He's coming back from cancer. He's going to be coming back. And we all know that D'Amico Ryans is a guy that he's about hard work.
Right.
He's about effort. I think from what I've seen from Peter, I mean, I think the Texans might be a good place.
They're a young team right now anyways. They're trying to rebuild, and I know they got I forgot his name right now. That rookie wide receiver played some this year. I'm blanking on his name right now, but then like you said, John Mechie.
They got young wide receivers for sure. Brandon Cooks is the
more
vet that they got, and likely, going to be moved on. I mean, he wanted traded last year actually, but he couldn't get moved, and he actually even expressed it after the deadline. He was like, "Come on now, why couldn't you trade me?" Right? He wanted to get traded to Dallas, and that that is something
Oh,
that
yeah.
So Houston's definitely they got a new regime there. So looking for young talent like
because they're not going to have Brandon Cooks. I don't know if Philip Dorsett's going to be there. They have Chris Moore, who kind of stepped up, and then they have Nico Collins, and then John Mechie could come back. So they're going to have a very young receiving core, very, very young.
And they're picking a quarterback first. I mean, in the first round, they're going after a quarterback for sure.
And so being there's 2 other teams I'm thinking of too, though. So I would say the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Their receiving core is pretty good. You know, they have number 8. They have the kid from Alabama. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I mean, the receiving core is all right. They get the job done somewhat, but I think they can have another additive to that offense to really make it explosive.
They have real. The Lions have really impressed me, especially with Jared Goff at quarterback. They got, like you said, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams just coming back. I think he had like an ACL. DJ
Yes.
Chark, Josh Reynolds, which I love Josh Reynolds. I think he's like, I don't say like underrated, but I don't know. I do like him. And then I think you mentioned earlier, was it Khalif Raymond?
Yes. Yep. Khalif. Yep.
And then Quintez Cephas as well. I've seen him play a lot. And then Tom Kennedy. I just love what they're doing there with the wide receivers.
Right. And then what do you think about so what would you think about the Arizona Cardinals? Because it looks like a lot of changes are happening over there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think he's staying at all. You know what I mean? I think he's being moved. Our top places for DeAndre is the Tennessee Titans, and looking at that, the Giants, Ravens. Hey, the Ravens, just to mention a team, right? Like their receiver poor.
They
You
are.
know
They
what I mean?
could really
I'll
use
be
you.
honest. Their receiver poor, but also the Cardinals will be. Robbie Anderson's going to be a salary cap casualty.
For sure. Sure. He had like 10 catches maybe after being traded there.
One player that's going to probably come back, and that actually was Marquise Brown.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, so if they get rid of D-Hop in Arizona, they'll have Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, which I love Rondale Moore, but that's past him, man. That's it. They don't have Andy Isabella anymore. They never used Andy Isabella. So they could really use you. And
sure,
they have Javon Wims, but I don't think he was high on the depth chart. I'm not sure. And them and the Ravens could definitely use a guy like you.
In regards to the Ravens, though, with D-Hop, I truly wonder if they'll be able to afford him if they pay Lamar Jackson his $250 million guaranteed.
Yeah, he's not backing down. I guess they've had some negotiations, and Lamar Jackson is still wanting like that $200+ million guaranteed. He wants it comparable to Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't. Do you think, Peter? Do you think Lamar Jackson is going to be? I guess they can always franchise tag him, but do you think he's moving on from the Ravens? Like, do you think he wants out?
I strongly believe so. Again, like I kind of heard you guys' podcast. I believe it was like a few days ago. It was the one that you sent me. You guys were speaking about how like a great landing spot for him would possibly be Atlanta, and I can truly see that happening, to be honest.
Yeah.
Atlanta be huge. Too. The way their offense runs, like they tried to go all out for Deshaun Watson. Definitely.
They had Deshaun Watson, and then the Browns swooped in.
Yep. Yeah. I definitely see them going that way. I mean, the Ravens are just they seem reluctant right now to just pay up what he's asking for. And if that doesn't align, he doesn't seem like the person to just let it go at all, to be honest. No. But and my question is who is negotiating his deal? Because I heard he's getting advice from the NFLPA, and last time I checked, it was like his mom or something that was his agent.
Yeah, correct. That is right. They was right on that, Peter. That is definitely who it is. His mom and himself is negotiating, and the NFLPA has jumped in and said, just tried to help him out a little bit. But like he's wanting guaranteed above what Deshaun Watson got.
Right.
Yeah. So, that is something like when we look at that, I was like, he's wanting that guarantee. And I don't know if the Ravens have never been a team I was really surprised that they paid Roquan Smith what they did, because they never are a team that really have done that. Todd Monken is their new OC. Wouldn't it be very interesting if they moved on from Lamar Jackson and added Baker Mayfield? to the Ravens.
That would be something.
Yeah, and Todd Monken was Baker Mayfield's offensive coordinator in his rookie year in Cleveland.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I hope that doesn't happen because I like Lamar as a Raven. I'll be honest, I really like. But I would listen. Being from Georgia, hey, I'm all about Lamar Jackson in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great fit in Atlanta, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's like the same time too. If you look at it, what was kind of the purpose of drafting Ritter from Cincinnati?
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Definitely, I get that. That's what everybody's saying. But I think at the end of the day, when you say, "Hey, do I have a chance to add Lamar Jackson?" Is Desmond Ritter's ever going to meet where Lamar Jackson is?
Right.
My question is no.
Would he be involved in like a trade deal then? Like
I would imagine.
Ritter? Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yep, I would imagine that I would imagine they would talk to him and see if he would be willing to, if he wanted to maybe play and learn under Lamar Jackson, and or something like that. The Jets, they're dead set on honestly getting someone. They're dead set on getting a big name.
They want a veteran.
Now, I do not agree with what they said about Derek Carr, but, ESPN's reporting that they think with Derek Carr as their quarterback, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They said if he comes there and wins a Super Bowl, he'd be a first ballot.
No, Derek Carr is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Trust me. He's there. I mean, I like Derek Carr. Don't get me wrong. I really like Derek Carr. I like the man he is. I respect that as much as anything, right? And I respect, what he has done because, he didn't have Darren Waller majority of the year. He did have Devontae, that's huge, but didn't have Hunter Renfro, and he was learning a brand new system under Josh McDaniel. I really like Derek Carr, but at first ballot Hall of Famer, I think it's a reach.
No, yeah, it's definitely a stretch.
Yeah. Definitely a reach there.
Yeah. Then you got Aaron Rodgers. You don't know what he's going to do. He does this every year. It wasn't real. I mean, listen, I'll be honest. It wouldn't surprise me, and I know Tanner's talked about it, if he just makes his way right back to the Packers.
I think he's sticking with the Packers. I don't see him moving on.
Yep. They better include him in decisions. That's all I can say, right? If they include him in decisions, he's going to be good. But whatever happens, guys, the way his contract is set up, he's got to reduce his contract for if he's going to get traded. Number one, he's got to sign off to anybody he wants to be traded. Like if he don't want to go to the Jets, he could just say no. Right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So he controls his own destiny.
And to be honest, Aaron Rodgers is due $60 million this season if he sticks with Green Bay. Why would he not?
Oh, wow.
Why would he not want that $60 million to play in Green Bay?
Hey, Peter, I just thought of another team before I'm going to talk about somebody just real quick, but I just thought of another team after that. Is one of the things that we reported to, Matt Ryan said he's not retiring. So what that means for Matt Ryan is going to be unemployed, right? Because Matt Ryan has got a cap number of about $35 million.
Wow.
Right. So Matt Ryan is definitely not staying around for the Colts, right? Because the Colts are looking to draft a quarterback, and they've already said they're looking to possibly trade up. We have actually heard rumors that DeForest Buckner could be involved in a trade with the Bears if they decide to trade up. And that makes a lot of sense, guys, because what it is, if you think about that, the Colts, the Chicago's head coach, coached DeForest Buckner for the Colts.
Matt, is that Eberflus?
Yeah, correct. But talking to Peter real quick, think about the Colts receiving core, Peter. They, they got one. I consider it. I'm not going to call him a 1A yet, right? I do think he's got a lot of talent. Right?
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yep. But
is it Dublin?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think that's not the name I'm thinking of, but
it's Michael Pittman.
Yeah, Michael Pittman.
Oh, Pittman.
Yeah, Michael Pittman. I don't consider him a 1A yet, right? Because Michael Pittman, he's been in and out flashes, but you look at their other receiver core, Peter, and I mean they could probably use some help at receiver. For sure.
So they really only have Michael Pittman, and I would say the biggest. They drafted Alec Pierce last
That's what
year.
I was. Yep, that's what
Yeah,
exactly I was about to say. They got Alec Pierce heavily
He's
involved in the offense.
Yep,
But
there you go.
they haven't, and they did sign free agent wide receiver Malik Turner, but and that was yesterday.
Right.
They have Paris Campbell, who did step up last season. I love Paris Campbell, and you're also right. They have Ashton Doolin as well, but none of these guys are like truly, I feel like, 100% established veterans that have produced year after year after year.
Right.
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you something I was excited about last night. Is like I've got definitely a lot of connections with the Ole Miss Rebels, and the thing I was excited about last night was the young man that played in the XFL last night. Like you never really heard of him too much, right? So far, but he really came on last night for the Sea Dragons. Ja'Cour Pearson. He played at Ole Miss. He actually ran a 4.240.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he is definitely he leads the XFL in receiving. And I think that's one of the things, like when you're looking at it, like a lot of these guys too is trying to get, back in the league. Like when you think of the Sea Dragons, you sit there and think like Josh Gordon's going to dominate this league. Well, actually, right now, Ja'Cour Pearson's dominating the league.
Right.
Yep. So Ole Miss definitely brought people like Patrick Willis, who's one of my favorite all-time players, and a lot of other great players from Ole Miss. And definitely, I think when you look at that, like Ja'Cour Pearson and some of those guys are making a way, like Peter's making his way through the NFL draft. These guys has went through that process, and they're trying to make their way back in from the XFL.
Right. And that's the upside to having all these leagues, right? So like my lady, she likes to call them the G League. So you know how how the NBA has their G League for guys who are trying to make it up. That's what she kind of considers the USFL, XFL, CFL, those kind of leagues. And so it's very, very good to have those leagues around, like you said, for guys like Cavante Turpin, who was a Pro Bowler, I believe, this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So these leagues are opening up doors for guys who are considered long shots, but really do have what it takes to thrive in the league when given the correct opportunity.
So answer, it sounded like the Riddler, like riddle me this, but is that something like you've considered? Did you get contacted by, I know the USFL had a draft on Tuesday. Is there something, anyone reached out to you, or is that something you consider like worst case scenario if you don't?
Right. So looking at those leagues like the USFL. So one, I do have one of my close friends, Bryce Tornadin. He was all pro, first team all pro with the USFL safety for the Maulers. So I very much respect that league. My agent Scott, he was actually putting my name in there with the Generals and whatnot. So I mean, any pro opportunity for me is big. At the end of the day, everyone wants to continue playing this game, and it's a +2 when you're getting paid for it, So I never shy away from any pro opportunities. Of course, just like all those guys playing in those leagues, the end goal is to make it to the big stage, which is the NFL. And so right now, my main priority is definitely to make it to NFL, but I do not and never will shy away from playing in one of those leagues, because I mean, any opportunity is a good opportunity to play pro football. Not everybody gets that opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah, and I feel like, we saw it, last season with the USFL. There, I don't know how many guys ended up getting signed after that year,
right,
to NFL rosters, but you can definitely showcase your talents, and it's proven effective.
I think there was a guy, I think his name is Victor Bolden, if you remember him, from Oregon State.
I remember him well. He played for the 49ers.
Yep, and then he actually ended up going to the USFL.
And then the Cardinals.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, a lot of guys, who were once superstars in college, some of them got to take that route too. Like you were just saying, Flash, he's in the XFL right now. Josh
Mm-hmm.
Gordon, and he's also trying to get another opportunity in the league. So it's like these leagues are not just for guys who were at a small D2 or D3 or NAI. Like it's for any guy that's looking to make it back to the NFL.
Oh yeah, Scott says it was 54 players total signed from the USFL to the NFL after season 1.
Wow.
Great.
I mean, that's a huge opportunity. That's 54 guys who thought they were done or didn't have a shot. USFL gave them a shot, and 54 were signed. I mean,
And
that's insane.
a
I will.
crazier, I believe a crazier statistic too that was given to us by our director here at X3. He read something that said like 31% of the league is made up of undrafted players.
Wow.
31%. So we're
That's actually,
that
that's a lot.
includes right. That includes first rounders, second, all the way down to the 7th round. 31% is made up of people who were not involved in the draft at all.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
Yeah, that's almost half. So it's that just comes to show you that the NFL draft is not end all be all. I mean, there's now plenty avenues for guys to make it to the NFL.
Yeah, I was always like, I'll be honest with Turp and there for the Dallas Cowboys. I was like, when I watched him, I was like, they better not kick to this guy. You know
Oh
what I mean? Yeah, I mean he's explosive, so that tells you what kind of talents out there. Now I'm going to get you, Peter, to stay with us as we do our little segment on our rumors here at the close to the end because I really enjoyed your company for sure.
Thank you.
And one of the things I want you to talk about today, I want you to tell these teams right now why they should draft Peter off.
Definitely. Would you like that answer right now?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Awesome. So I would say first reason to draft me is because I'm very coachable. I'm extremely coachable. I love to learn. I'm hungry for information. I will literally ask questions till you get annoyed. I love information. Second reason is I'm a great athlete. I'm very explosive. I'm very fast. Injury for me is never really ever a factor. Another thing is I'm a team player. I'm a team guy. I'm not selfish. I played fullback before. I love to block. I love seeing my other teammates thrive. As you can tell by my statistics, yes, I had 63 receptions, 1,220 in 2 years, but that's because I was allowing my other teammates to succeed as well. So I take pride in not only my statistics, but in my teammates' statistics as well.
That's great. And is that something like at the end of the day, it's like you just want to play football, That's
I just want to play
something.
football and I want to see my guys win. At the end of the day, if my team wins, I win. If my team wins, we all get the attention and all the glory. So again, it's a team sport. This isn't boxing where it's just you, and if you lose, it's on you and that kind of stuff. You have brothers to lean on. You have brothers to tend to. You have brothers that trust you and you trust them. And so you just got to remember at the end of the day, it's bigger than yourself.
I feel like that's not
that's
an attitude you find a lot anymore. A lot of receivers now, which no disrespect to anyone, but it's usually about like, I want to be paid to be the wide receiver one. I know I'm the wide receiver one, and they try to make it about them. And
right, and this
is a team sport.
isn't right. This isn't shade at all. This is probably my most favorite player. I'll say a great example of that is like Tyreek Hill. Of course, it's very hard to turn down the check.
Right.
But if I'm making more than enough money, let's keep winning Super Bowls. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady's hailed now as the greatest football player to ever walk the earth because he just stuck around. He stayed true for a few years, then finished off his last few years with Tampa, and then helped them win because he knew what it was like to be in a winning culture, to be a team player, and that is contagious, It's very contagious.
That's true. And oh God, I'm trying to think of who it was actually recently took a restructured deal or a pay cut to help his team be able to sign more players this offseason. I'm trying to
Packers
think.
running back did as well lately.
Aaron Jones did that too.
Yeah.
But there was a quarterback, I want to say, who just took like a restructure to be able to keep his so he can sign key players this offseason. And everyone's like, man, that's
what you're talking about. I just
was it Burrow? I think it was. Yeah, it was Burrow. Here it is on February 9th. Teammates. It's believed by some teammates that Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow will accept a team-friendly contract extension to keep weapons around him like Jamar Chase. I mean,
Definitely.
that's a team player.
He's got to keep T. Higgins around too. That's
Right.
another one that he's got to work on.
And that could lead us right into some rumors, Brandon, because think about one of the rumors is Tyler Boyd and him leaving Cincinnati.
I think Tyler Boyd is a possibility. I know that Joe Burrow definitely likes to keep him as a possession wide receiver. But I think Tyler Boyd is somebody that teams will call about. You know, when we report rumors that teams call about it, that doesn't mean they're going to get traded, but they're definitely getting called. They're definitely getting called about T. Higgins, and they're definitely getting called there about Tyler Boyd. Now, whether they move him or not is a different story.
Right.
But like when you're looking at that, definitely teams are calling the Bengals, especially seeing there's not a lot of wide receiver like free agency either out there, right now. Like when you're talking about the top wide receivers in free agency, you're talking about Jacoby Myers from the Patriots, and you're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster from the Chiefs.
That's like the top free agents right now, because if you think about it, you've heard names like D-Hop.
Those are all trades, yeah.
And Brandon Cooks. Yeah, they're all trades. They're still under contract with the team. They're not free agents.
No, so they're all definitely. They're all going to be possible trade situations. So I think when you're looking at that, I really believe that is very huge. And like Peter was talking about, like he was telling about why teams was interested in him, and I think the teams are looking for a good guy as well, right? And I think they would definitely get that, Peter, for sure.
Definitely.
I love that mentality, Peter. I think that's important. Is like team friendliness, like, and that's the way I was raised too. It's like, and I'm not trying to throw shade at any player in the NFL, because like I try to respect everyone in the NFL. Right. But like if you're making millions of dollars and like, oh, you choose to sign with the team because you'll make a couple million more. It's like at the end of the day, you're making millions. Accept a team-friendly contract and keep winning Super Bowls. I mean, that's to me the accomplishment. Is because
if you think about it, there's a lot of rich players with a very poor legacy.
Oh,
a lot of rich players with a very poor legacy. So these are the players now that you have jumping on podcasts, basically degrading other players in the league, kind of with a bitter attitude about it as well. And I'm not saying anybody specific, because those topics get touchy, but there are players out there with a lot of money, but they're bitter inside because they didn't have the success that other players had because they were chasing money.
Exactly. And a lot of those podcasts include former wide receivers or former players. Right. And it's like, they put up great numbers in their career, but they're a little salty because they didn't win the Super Bowl. Or
exactly. Because of that is because they didn't want to take the pay cuts. They didn't want to lose money,
Yeah, they think, it's an NFL team. They have the financials to pay me, but I'm like, dude, they still have salary cap and like 52 other players on a roster to think about.
And literally, I mean, like that's why, like personally, I feel like you can get first round talent out of me for cheap, and that won't be a problem.
I love it, man. That's awesome right there. I think, and honestly, talking to you, I think we've had a blast. Honestly, this has been one of the best guests we've had.
Just definitely.
You communicate well, and you come across as a straightforward guy, but also humble enough to understand, like, count your blessings and accept opportunities. I think that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And one of the things too, when you talk about, not that he's a bad guy or anything, I really don't know him that well for sure, is Kenny Galladay, right? is I don't know him that well, but we know that the Brinks truck backed up, right, and paid him for the Giants, right?
Right, right.
And he had, like, if I'm not mistaken, like less than 100 yards last year, and he made like over $20 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty much, like, if you look at like 100 yards, I mean, he got paid. I think it was 8 catches. He got paid over $1 million a catch.
So did the wide receiver for the Chicago Bears, he came from the Steelers. Did they pay him?
Yeah, like they actually gave him a first round. They actually gave him a first round pick that'll end up being a first round pick there for him.
Wait, who was that?
The wide receiver I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're talking when you're talking about that, he's talking about Chase Claypool.
Claypool, yes. Claypool.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was thinking Anthony Miller, but he's the one that went from the Bears to the Steelers.
Right.
Yeah, you're talking about Claypool.
Now, Chase Claypool, when we talk about his salary, like, hey, I think this is good money myself, but, he's making $3 million this season. So, I mean, they got some move, they got like Darnell Mooney, they got Chase Claypool, but I do think that they're looking for a true, some more receivers, right? Like, when you're looking at that, they're looking for some more, and you never know, they might make some moves. There's like a lot of rumors that they could move on from Darnell Mooney, right? So Chase Claypool, they definitely, I don't think, will move on because they got a lot invested in him, but I'll be honest, I don't know if they'll pay him, like, unless he really produces this year, right? To a good salary. But I actually liked him in Pittsburgh. I thought he was a good player, right? But when you're looking at that, like, it's very, very interesting.
So were you saying you thought Claypool was a good player in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So was that around the time that Roethlisberger was still there?
Yeah. It was.
Okay, you could have that conversation with Juju Smith as well, because, like, you could say, well, Antonio Brown created him. I hear that a lot because, don't get me wrong, Ben Roethlisberger was there, and I loved Big Ben. But, like, Antonio Brown got so much attention, and when he left, Juju Smith just kind of fell off.
Small school, man, Miami of Ohio, Ben Roethlisberger.
Man, he had a great career.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm going to get into these, and we'll definitely let you guys see what you think. But here's some of the rumors that we had over the last 24 hours.
All right.
So the Bucs are now expected to go with Kyle Trask as the starter for 2023. Thoughts, Tanner?
I think I don't see anything wrong with that. I still think they have a roster right now to be able to compete. So I know that they're going to be looking at some veteran help. But I don't see anything wrong with trying to roll with a rookie or I guess a second year player in this case. Because you never know what you're going to get, but you do want to have a nice backup just in case, your season doesn't start off well. You don't want to get behind too late, and then you can roll with a backup quarterback who has starting experience. So they're going to be looking at some veterans for sure.
Yeah, and they compared him as a point guard, like, he'll be in a point guard, and dumping the ball off. You're talking about with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, some of the weapons that they got there. So I definitely, that's what they're going to be looking at. It seems like they're not going to make a move at a quarterback. I know that they really like Blaine Gabbert as a backup.
Yeah.
So that we might not see a lot of movement from Tampa Bay unless they're just putting a smoke screen out there, right?
Right.
So the Ravens are expected to trade or release Chuck Clark. This was definitely a rumor last year too. The Athletic reported this. If in Baltimore, if they do trade Chuck Clark, they can make actually a better cap space number. They could actually get up to $4 million in cap space if they go ahead and trade Chuck Clark.
I mean, I don't see that. Like, I don't know. And Scott here says Andy Dalton to the Bucs would be a great fit. I could actually see that.
I agree. That would be a really good one.
And as far as Chuck Clark goes, I mean, I do see it. Like that could happen, definitely. But he's a key piece to that defense, and that defense is losing a lot of pieces, I feel like. So they just aren't what they were, 2
Definitely.
years ago.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to move on to maybe a surprising one, but this was reported yesterday that DeAndre Swift is not expected to be part of Detroit's long-term plans.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep, the team is looking possibly to add a running back in the NFL draft.
And why not? Swift's got some injury history.
Right.
Jamal Williams has been a stud. I loved him in Green Bay, and now he's
Barry
getting a
Sanders
chance.
record too.
At the end of the day, with that, you got to just go with who's producing.
And that's Jamal Williams.
Right.
Yep. You got it. DeAndre Swift, definitely, he's a Georgia guy for sure. But I think, you know what? If I was the Falcons, I would definitely be calling.
Yeah, because they were rolling with 2 rookies last year, I think.
I would definitely. He would be a hometown hero. He'd get some fans in the seats, definitely there. And 2, that it might just be a change that he needs, right?
Could it be the offense that he was in that probably didn't fit him?
Could be. That happens a lot. That actually happens a lot, man. I'll be honest. Like having the right offense. I'll get my favorite version of this is Nnamdi Asomugha, right? This guy was on track to be a Hall of Famer for the Raiders, right? He goes and takes the money from the Eagles and they put him in a zone defense instead of a man-to-man, right? And he struggles really bad. He actually got signed by the 49ers who put him back into his man-to-man coverage. And he actually had a pretty successful season for the 49ers that year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, when he was
scheming.
with the Raiders, man, sometimes the grass is green, not greener on the other side.
Right.
In my opinion. I'm going to move on to this one, and this one might surprise you guys. You ready?
Yeah.
The Patriots are currently paying their tight end crop $32 million of their cap space.
Yeah, because they signed Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry a couple years ago for like 4-year deals each, paying them a bunch of money.
Exactly. So we heard last night that the Patriots are expected to release Jonnu Smith. That makes a lot of sense. I mean,
it makes too much sense.
That we've not heard about Hunter Henry yet. What's going to happen there? But just remember, guys, we have some good players out there at tight end in free agency. You got Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys is naming one. You got Mike Gesicki of the Dolphins. Put in the right system, Mike Gesicki will be okay. He was just put in the 49er system what cause you to block a lot. He's not a blocking tight end.
I don't know if you guys saw Mike's tweet today, but
I did. I saw it yesterday, or one yesterday.
He was basically saying if what's the USC's quarterback's name?
Caleb Williams.
If Caleb Williams were to sign to the Dolphins, he'd need to figure out if he needs to renew his condo lease.
Yeah, I saw. He replied to Caleb's statement about like, oh, I'd love to play for the Dolphins because they got all these weapons, and he named Mike Gesicki. He goes, Caleb, I don't know if you know that, but he's like, I may have to renew my condo lease to be there in 2024 or something.
Oh, that was pretty funny. That was really funny.
Like he knows he's gone. And
you know what? One of the Fitz guys that they put in for ESPN, I think it was, the biggest fit that they had for him was the Panthers. And Frank Reich is, I know he had some trouble for the Colts, but Frank Reich knows how to put tight ends in the right position, I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a Packers fan, so I really want Green Bay to get him. I think that they have strayed away from using their tight ends, and hopefully they bring back Mercedes Lewis to help block. But I know I want them to have a star tight end like Mike Gesicki.
Frank was recently with the Colts, correct?
Yes, that's right.
What's the do you recall the name of their tight end? He played in like the East-West Shrine Bowl. I think he was a rookie.
They have the guy. Well, they used to have Jack Doyle, which he retired.
Because their tight end had a lot of success. So like, I mean, I could, like you said,
Frank, was he a rookie?
Mo Alley Cox.
There's Mo Alley Cox, and then there was Jelani Woods, if that was who you're talking about.
It might have been him. Yeah, I think it was Jelani.
Okay, yeah, he was a rookie, I think, this
Yeah.
last season.
At
Yes,
one time, like he said, Jelani Woods actually led the team in receiving for a couple of
yes,
games. Yeah.
got him really involved, and so that's why, like you were saying, Frank might end up getting Mike.
That's a good fit. And in NFL rumors, he's like very good at like analytics. You know, he punches in all these different scenarios into like an algorithm, and then you get this like percentage back on like how things could happen. And that's like that analytic, I'm sure, is up there as far
Yeah,
as landing with the Panthers.
80% last season of prediction matches for free agents.
That's really high as far
Yeah.
as analytics go.
Yeah.
So do you?
So
Do you?
yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, okay. Well, you go ahead on this topic because my question was in regards to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, you shoot. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Definitely. So do you think the Cardinals this year will focus in on defense or offense?
Defense, because
Defense.
of Jonathan Gannon, right? And one of the things that was a great topic to bring up, because Jonathan Gannon actually, I think one of the reasons he was hired, the Cardinals had the second worst yards given up in their franchise history, I think, since the 60s.
And that was with Vance Joseph.
Yeah, and he just got hired for the Broncos. You know what I mean? So, but now he's inheriting for the Broncos. Let's be real here, guys. He's inheriting a heck of a defense for the Broncos.
Oh yeah, I love that Broncos defense. They took a huge hit losing that defensive coordinator. What's his face? I kind of Ejiro or something like that. I can't pronounce his name. But Vance Joseph, I think, is going to be just fine with that defense.
Yeah, and one of the coaches I really liked, I was really disappointed that he didn't really actually get a job this year, was the Panthers. Actually, interim head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I was very disappointed that Steve Wilkes didn't get that job. But one of the things I will tell you, he's in a really good spot in San Francisco, because the last 3.5 years, they produced 3 head coaches out of the defensive coordinator position.
Who's that? The Panthers?
No, yeah, the Panthers. Steve Wilkes is now the 49ers defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so more than likely, if the 49ers continue to play well on defense, which I don't see them, I still see a really good defense that they're going to put on the field. Steve Wilkes will definitely be a name next year.
That's true.
Head coach.
Yeah, you've got the Jets head coach, and then they had
D'Amico.
And then you had D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah,
and then
49ers is a hot haven for coaches right now. They're producing a lot of coaches in the NFL right
Steve Wilkes probably saw this as an opportunity. He's like, man, I got a good defense next year. I got a head coach opportunity.
So when a team pays a head coach, right, does that cut into the team's cap space?
Nope, not at all. Only players.
Okay. Only players, because I was curious.
I didn't know that.
As you can see, Eric Bindemy just signed to be the new offensive coordinator with I believe the Commanders.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering, I was like, man, how much money do they have left?
Yeah. It doesn't add into their players or anything like that, but that's a good question for sure. I thought that's a great question.
Well, and another reason he took that job is because they offered him the role of not only offensive coordinator but assistant coach. And he wants to.
I feel like it would have taken a lot for him to leave the Chiefs after all the success he had. I didn't think, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if it's not a head coach job, he's not leaving.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what's
so they probably had to offer him more.
Right. This is what's so sad about this, Peter, and I'm just going to be very frank on this, is he should have never had to leave Kansas City to get a head coaching job. This is why he's leaving. He's going to the Commanders to show that he can do things without Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Right.
But he shouldn't have to, right? Like, honestly, they've already proven that he is drawing up the plays every week.
Mm-hmm.
He should have got a shot at a job.
Right. And if you look at it, it's almost like a Tom Brady situation, right? So basically he leaves the Patriots. I personally think he left the Patriots to prove that he didn't need Belichick.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and I 100% agree, right? That could be it. A lot of people do that, right? Like, hey, let me move on and see if that is a situation that I can thrive in, right?
Right.
Yep.
And
Hey,
I thought, go
I've
ahead.
got a couple more for you guys real quick. Is the Athletic John Machado said that Tyron Smith is likely to be released.
Is that from which team? Who's that? Tyron
Dallas.
Smith? Yeah, Dallas.
Offensive
Okay.
tackle. So it's going to put another tackle on the market. Might want to watch the Bears for that one, right? Bears got a lot of money to spend in free agency. Might also want to watch the Chargers there. Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator now for the Chargers.
That's true.
The Athletic, that is from Jay Morrison, said Jesse Bates is good as gone, so he is not being franchised, as Adam Schefter reported.
Saw that. Yeah. So he was franchise tagged last season, and I believe you can be tagged 2 seasons in a row. But they drafted that guy last year, Daxton Hill. So I think he's gone too. Each team saves a certain amount of their cap space for draft picks and undrafted free agents. That's what Scott was saying there.
Yeah, definitely. So Jesse Bates will definitely be looking at a team that is in need of a safety, right, guys? So that is somebody. The big surprise for me, right before we did our special podcast on salary cap hits yesterday, Bobby Wagner was released. That actually is one that surprised me a little, right? Because Bobby Wagner, they're only saving $5 million in cap space.
Yeah, and for a guy that has that kind of leadership. But they said it was a mutual decision, so he probably wanted out. He saw, like, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Jalen Ramsey could be doing the same thing as I'm hearing. Jalen Ramsey is wanting out as well, is what we're hearing. And there's a lot of teams that's interested in Jalen, like the Steelers, the Lions, the Chargers.
You'd be crazy not to be interested in him.
I've heard some rumors around number 13 for the Chargers.
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of rumors around him. I don't know if those are trade rumors or whatnot. But
it's actually, it's a likely scenario.
We actually put that on there as well, Peter. Keenan Allen, of course, Charger fans had a little hate for us for sure. But Keenan, anytime you report a rumor of somebody's team, man, you get the slack, right? A little bit.
Right.
Yeah, but Keenan Allen, definitely. The Chargers have a huge way to go to get below cap space.
Right.
And I've had predicted that Keenan Allen's a 50-50 shot of being a salary cap casualty or a trade. And also, I think Khalil Mack is more like a 75% chance of being released.
Hey, we got a comment here or a question from Sam in the chat. Do you think the Seahawks go after Bobby Wagner? I do not. No. It's not going to be a reunion. I just don't see it happening.
They got a good linebacker that replaced Bobby Wagner. Actually, he did really good. He led the NFL in tackles. I would probably say he's telling the truth there for sure. I don't see Bobby Wagner would be a great story if he did come there. But, there's somebody that's got a lot of money right now that could pay Bobby Wagner. It's looking for a middle linebacker. Chicago Bears.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. Yep. And after they, who is it? Isn't it Roquan Smith a
Ravens? Yep.
Yeah, he was a linebacker, right? So they're in need of that.
Bobby Wagner could get paid there for sure.
Where is Khalil Mack?
He's with the Chargers.
Yeah, he's probably going to get released there, right? He's probably going to get released. I'll be honest. The reason why is he's got a $27 million cap number, and Joey Bosa has a $33 million cap number. So they're both accounting for almost $60 million of cap space.
How scary would that be with Khalil Mack and Bobby Wagner?
Yeah, that would be crazy if you could bring Khalil Mack back. Imagine adding Khalil Mack to a team like Miami, right, and putting him like next to Chubb there.
Right.
Oh, I forgot Bradley Chubb was there.
Yeah, just remember about this. Look, when you're talking about analytics and things like that, Tanner, Fangio coached Khalil Mack to his best season ever in Chicago.
That's a good point. Wow.
Yep.
I forgot he was the was he the DC there?
Yep. And this is some of the news that we got that was sourced to us is Cowboys yesterday preseason standout Brandon Smith is signing with the XFL.
Oh, really?
Yep. He was a preseason standout for Dallas, and he's signing over to the XFL. Said he wanted to get some more experience and should have a really good shot at getting on a practice squad, maybe earning a 53-man next season.
Well, he'll have a shot, especially if the XFL produces like they're expecting it to.
Yep. Yeah, we got a big rumor. I know probably nobody wanted to hear this one, but Mike Florio speculated that Tom Brady, if the 49ers call, will be one team he would ditch retirement for.
I don't know. I think he's done this time.
I think he's done personally, and honestly, I think he's really trying to lock in on his family.
Yeah.
I think he realized, he goes, man, that wasn't worth not winning a Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, I don't think he's coming back, but you're right, though. If there is a team that could persuade him to come out of it, I mean, it could be the 49ers.
Yeah,
but
because this is his childhood team. You know, this is his childhood team, right?
Right. It would definitely be for a pretty penny.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be it. Hey, the other one I got for you guys, and I loved this kid last year, is Deontay Foreman at Carolina, right? Is Deontay Foreman, the Panthers said that they want him back. The new running back coach, Lou Staley, said he wants Deontay Foreman back as his running back. Yeah. So it sounds like Deontay Foreman has a great chance of coming back to Carolina next year.
Well, he did great. He did great there. So I definitely see them trying to make a push to sign him back.
Yeah,
he did just fine filling in for Christian McCaffrey.
Yep, he did. He did. This is some draft news. It's kind of funny. Mel Kiper is really good, but also gets hate a lot, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Is Mel Kiper said he will retire if the Texans select Bijan Robinson in the first round. If the Ravens, my bad, select.
He will retire. Wow.
Yeah.
Is he a running back?
Yeah, he's a running back. I do think that this running back will get picked higher than people think. He's got a lot of talent in the NFL draft, but I think Bijan Robinson, I think you might want to look at those later teams that's drafting, like the Bills. You might want to look at the Eagles, look at some of those late teams that might be drafting, unless somebody thinks that he's the guy and trades up. Dallas Cowboys are really big on going and getting running backs early. And Ezekiel Elliott, there's a lot of rumors. He's the highest paid running back in the NFL this year.
Yeah, and he's not he's just not worth it right now.
Nope, there you go. But we've been having we'll continue to see salary cap casualties, we feel. As we keep on working through the off season, like we said, this is one of our busiest times for sure, getting all the rumors out to you guys. But interesting to see what happens. We're already having some moves. The Titans are cleaning house. We got some other teams as well working through that and trying to get to the cap. No, Saints are working through their cap space number, trying to reduce salary. So very, very good things. And I'll be honest, one of those things that actually Peter was talking about, and this rings true, because think about it like this: Evan Ingram. When Evan Ingram was the Giants, everybody was saying, "Hey, you know what? He's a bust." You know what I mean? He's went to Jacksonville, and now finished as one of the top tight ends in the NFL last year.
Oh yeah, and they're trying to get him back too.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to come back. He wants to come back. Jacksonville. Peterson's really great working with tight ends, as you can see. He had Zach Ertz for many years, and I think Evan Ingram, is saying like, hey, I'm going to stay where I was successful.
Mm-hmm. I would too.
And so
I think that's the right decision.
Would you say, in regards to Jacksonville, like, what are they really missing in that offense for it to be complete? Because would you say it's a running back?
Well, running back wise, Travis Etienne, I think he's had some injury problems, right?
Right.
I'll be honest. I think, Peter, that they really need to go and get a good, backup just in case he gets hurt, right? Like somebody just some insurance there. But one of the things that a lot of people is forgetting about with the Jacksonville, if they go back and sign Evan Ingram, they've already got Christian Kirk, they already got Zay Jones, and they traded for Atlanta's #1 last year when
Calvin
he had
Ridley.
the betting scandal. Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and he'll be back healthy, and he's going to be good.
They're going to be talented, man. Trevor Lawrence has really grown. This team's going to be talented. One of the things I really respect about Trevor Lawrence, when we talk about integrity, and I'm really big about that, is he said that when Jacksonville lost their game, he actually went and gave a towel to every single person and shook their hand in the locker room.
Wow.
That says a lot, like as a teammate. And I'm
Yeah.
sure Peter can tell you about that. Is that says a lot if your quarterback's doing that.
Right.
You want to go play for this guy.
Definitely.
Yep, for that. So
they did surprise me. Doug Peterson surprised me. I didn't think he was that great of a head coach, but he's helped develop Trevor Lawrence really well.
Well, one of the big rumors that was coming out there yesterday, and honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. Trayvon Diggs is trying to recruit his brother Stephon Diggs to the Cowboys. I think there's a very small chance of that happening. The reason why is the dead cap number is huge if they trade him. Like the dead cap is like, I think if I'm not mistaken, over $20 million.
For the Bills?
Yeah, there's no way that I don't think they'll eat that, right, to trade him. And I don't think that they want to trade him. Josh Allen does not want to trade Diggs. Stephon Diggs reminds me, guys, of Michael Irvin, right? Michael Irvin is very adamant of wanting the ball.
Oh.
And it's not that he's like, he's not that he's a bad person or anything, for sure. He just wants to win.
Right.
Right? That's what it is. It just wants to win. Like, hey, I want the ball, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have somebody saying, I want the ball, rather than somebody like, being like, oh yeah, let me be like Kenny Galladay,
Right.
Just sit here and get paid. I know probably I'll get hate for that, but hey, it's true, man. I mean, Kenny Galladay is a situation, I'll be honest, is that was a really bad move on that GM.
Yeah,
right. He went and signed Kenny Galladay. He had one good year there in Detroit. He went and signed him, and that situation right there is tough. I mean, they're going to release him for sure. It's 100% chance they're releasing Kenny Galladay. They're not having him have $20 million another year. The $20 million. There's no way.
All right, guys, we are over an hour, so I think it's time to wrap it up. We got anything to add, Peter? And like you said, we gave you a chance to tell the teams what you can provide for them, and we do have people that listen to this, and especially when we get this out on Twitter.
Definitely.
Is there anything to add?
I think really all I'll add is I do appreciate you, Tanner, and Brandon, and really the NFL rumor community for having me on the show and allowing me to tell my story and introduce myself. Here soon, once I get an opportunity, I'll be able to reintroduce myself on the field to NFL fans or whatnot. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to joining somebody's club and family and just building bonds and brotherhoods with guys, man.
Sounds great. I love it.
And we enjoyed having you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope to be back on here, man. This was real productive and fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely do that. Maybe when we get closer there to the draft, or maybe even sooner, we'll get back up with you, Peter.
Right. I'll have to write this one in my retirement plan. Get on NFL Rumor Podcast.
Awesome. Man, we enjoy it and we love it, and we talk football all day. That's what we do here.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you. Hey, and guys, make sure you tune in and you're following NFL Rumors for all the breaking news of the draft, all the breaking news of all your rumors happening, the salary cap cuts. We got some really good videos on our NFL Rumors channel. Make sure you're following Tanner on this YouTube channel. This is where the podcast stays, so you really need to make sure you're hitting that bell and follow and smashing that like button today and telling us what you think. And I really do appreciate everybody. I hope you have a blessed day. And I'll let Tanner end it with us.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much. Like he said, follow me on Twitter, Tanner Phifer NFL. I have about 58,000 on Instagram, so make sure you join there as well. And just follow NFL Rumors. We'll be doing this all off season with the latest rumors and news and free agent predictions. Guys, thank you so much. We'll catch you next week with episode 18. See you guys.